I'd like to welcome y'all back to another episode of Beyond the Fear podcast, the place where y'all come to get some motivation, inspiration, and just uplifting and positive words. I'm your host, DJ, and today the topic that we're talking about is stop going backwards. You know, I was having a conversation with a friend of mine, and they were just telling me about how, the person that they were with just wasn't doing right. And they finally were fed up with the person and, and chose to leave the situation, chose to leave the relationship, and was gone for about like 3 weeks. They didn't talk, they didn't communicate, nothing. And then just out of the blue, the person called them, and now they're kind of back together or trying to figure things out, trying to see what's going on. And they didn't want to tell me like what was going on. And my thing is, whatever you choose to do is your business. If you choose to get back with this person, you choose to stay single, whatever you choose to do, that's what I'm saying, that's your choice to make. Like, you don't have to feel bad about telling me, hey, I chose this person, or I chose to stay, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you choose is what you choose. You have to live with your choices, not me. So, I don't feel bad. I'm the type of person, or at least I try not to judge people. Now will I be honest with you, and will I say, well, I don't think that this person is for you, or this person is who they are. You know what I'm saying? They've shown you several times who they are. This is just who they are. Don't go, I will tell you, hey, don't go into the situation just thinking that this person up and changed in just a couple of weeks, or whatever. But, if that's what you choose, that's what you chose. You know what I'm saying? I'm never going to tell you, don't choose that. If that's what you choose, that's what you choose. You have to deal with those consequences, not me. So I'll never harp on that. So we kind of got into the conversation, and we kind of got to talking, and they were just like, nothing's really changed. So I asked the question of, well, why do you keep moving backwards? Why do you keep going backwards? And again, I'm not saying it, I didn't say it, or I didn't ask it in a judgmental way, because again, as someone who stayed in a relationship that wasn't healthy on both sides, both of us, it wasn't healthy for the both of us. I understand why you would. I understand why I stayed. I was just asking them to see what their answer is. What answer would they give me? I'm just asking to get the answer. I'm not asking from a place of me trying to call them dumb for staying. I was just asking so that I can get an understanding of why they keep going back. And so they really didn't have an answer for me. And then the answer that they did give was like convenience, just the comfort zone. I know this person, and you know what I'm saying? And again, because I understand, I feel like I've said it several times on my show, on this podcast. I've said it several times that there have been so many bad situations, not just relationships. We talking jobs, we talking friendships, we talking all types of stuff. There's so many bad situations that I've stayed in or continue to go back to, even once I got myself out, because of familiarity, comfort zone. Because you know what I'm saying, I don't want to go do something else. This is what I'm used to doing. This is what I'm comfortable with. So I completely understand. So we had a long conversation about, just getting out of your comfort zone, getting past that fear of the unknown, or trying something new, or meeting somebody new, or just being by yourself for a little while to figure yourself out. And so, whatever happens in that situation happens, you know what I'm saying? I've kind of, they asked me my opinion. I gave my opinion. I gave, what I would do. Because of where I am in life, I made sure that I put that out there, that, you know, I'm only telling you this based off the experiences that I've gone through over the past couple of months, because the past couple of months have changed my viewpoints, my views, the way I think, very drastically. You know what I'm saying? So if I would have had this conversation with them um before these past few months, then my answer probably would have been different. So, I just bring that conversation up to just to get to what I want to talk about today, and that's stop going backwards. You know what I'm saying? So, and again, I don't just mean relationships, I mean friendships, I mean jobs, I mean whatever. You know what I'm saying? If you know that whatever it is, whatever type of situation it is, if you already know that it's not good for you and nothing good's coming from it, and you've tried your best and you've tried everything, and the other person may be trying everything, and there's just no fixing it, it's okay to say, you know what, this just isn't working. You know what I'm saying? I had to realize that when people say, hey, this just isn't working, we don't mix well, or whatever the case may be. It's not you giving up on the person, it's not you giving up on the relationship. It's just you realizing that it's just not working. And sometimes I say that, but then sometimes you do have to give up on relationships, because you got to understand you can't be the only person fighting. I used to always say this, like, I don't mind being in the ring fighting for my relationship. I don't mind being in the ring fighting for my person, but I can't be the only one fighting. They got to be in there fighting with me for the relationship. So sometimes the other person's just through fighting. They don't see it being worth fighting for. They don't see any reason to fight for it. And sometimes you just do have to give up because they've already given up on the relationship. So it happens. But there's nothing wrong with choosing yourself. There's nothing wrong with choosing your sanity, choosing your mental health, choosing your physical health, because sometimes you stressing yourself out to the point to where you're sick. I've been there as well. So there's nothing wrong with saying, you know what, I'm choosing me, I'm choosing my health, I'm choosing my sanity, I'm choosing my peace. And the best thing I can do is let this go. But when you do that, make sure that you genuinely start to let it go. Don't just say you're going to let it go for a couple of days or a couple of weeks and then end up going back to it. Like, because especially if it's something new, something fresh, okay. But if you know that you put 6, 7, 8+ years into this, you know who this person is. This person knows who you are. You know who you are, or at least you should know who you are. And you know that you and this person, y'all mindsets don't mix. Y'all aren't very compatible. You know what I'm saying? Yes, you're comfortable there because you've been with this person for almost a decade now. So there's just too much, you're just way too comfortable there. So, you know what I'm saying? That's your comfort zone calling, and your comfort zone is the biggest thing that will keep you in neutral, will keep you stuck in the same spot in life for a very long time, because it's easy, because it's comfortable, because you know what that is. You don't have to put any work in on this because you know what it is. Again, as someone who's been there, as someone who's talked about it several times and will continue to talk about it several times on this podcast, your comfort zone is your enemy. And so your comfort zone will have you staying in relationships that you know aren't good, have you sticking around people and calling them friends when you know they phony. They will have you at jobs that you know aren't good for you, aren't good for your health, aren't good for your well-being, but you stay because you know what your work day gonna look like. You know what a hard day looks like. You know what an easy day looks like. You can go in and you can already pretty much map out how your day gonna go because you just that familiar with it. And all those things are great. But when you start to feel yourself getting miserable because you aren't getting a challenge, or you aren't getting a promotion, or you aren't getting a raise, or you aren't getting fulfillment from this job or from this relationship, from this friendship, you know what I'm saying? None of these things are bringing anything positive to your table, aren't bringing any positive things into your life, they're not pouring into you in any type of positive way. All the thing that they're doing is draining your positivity, or they're pouring negative things into you. You gotta be willing to take a step back and reassess all of these things. But more importantly, once you reassess and once you figure things out, you have to be willing to pull the trigger of, okay, I'm letting this go and I'm staying away from it. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to say, and I get it. You know what I'm saying? It's easy to say these things, and it's very hard to do. It's very hard to let go of somebody that you care for. It's very hard to let go of something that is so familiar to you. You know it like the back of your hand. But just because you care for it doesn't mean that it cares for you. Just because it's very familiar to you doesn't mean that it's good for you. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes we have to let things go, and we have to be willing to move on. You know what I'm saying? We gotta be willing to let stuff go and continue moving forward in our journey. And I feel like our comfort zones and our fear of trying something new, learning a new person, bringing new people into our lives after we've just had to let somebody close to us go, we let the fear of all of that make us backtrack and go back in reverse and pick up, you know what I'm saying, all of that baggage and that luggage that we just dropped off because we're afraid to try something new. We're afraid to meet new people. We're afraid to let new people in. And what I'm realizing is we're just too quick to want to jump from one situation to the next. Now, obviously, this don't apply with the job. You know what I'm saying? Of course, if you leave one job, you need to have another one lined up. So I'm not really talking about the job from this standpoint, but I'm just talking about the relationships. And I don't just mean romantic. I mean friendships, all of that. We be too quick to jump into something new when once we reassess everything and we decide, okay, this person, that person, they're not adding anything positive to my life. I need to let them go. It's time to move forward. What we need to start doing, or what we need to normalize is taking that time in between this friendship and the next friendship, this relationship and the next relationship, to love on ourselves, to build ourselves up, to find ourselves again. Because if you've been in a relationship for 7, 8 years, you're not the same person you was 7, 8 years ago when the last time you were single. You know what I'm saying? You need to figure yourself out. You need to figure out what it is that you want out of a relationship. What do you want for yourself? Where are you going in life? Because I'm pretty sure that where you are right now is way different than where you were 7 years ago. Your visions for your life are way different than they were 7 years ago. Your goals, whatever, are way different than they were seven seven years ago. So you have to go in and reassess yourself, reevaluate yourself, and you know what I'm saying. You now that you have 7 years of a relationship, you know the things that you don't like, the things that you do like, the things that you're willing to accept, the things that you absolutely won't accept. You know your non-negotiables. You know your whatever it is that you want to call it. You know the things that are just going to instantly turn you off. So now you know what I'm saying? You know exactly what you're looking for. Now it's up to you to make that commitment to yourself to not budge on your standards. Once you wherever you set your standards, make sure that you're willing to stay there. And I get it, you know what I'm saying? The dating pool might not be the greatest thing out there, but stay committed to your standards. Keep meeting these, you know what I'm saying? And even if you have to take breaks, I know people are like, well, I'll be tired of going on first dates. I'm tired of doing the small talk. I'm tired of meeting new people just for them not to work out. And I understand that. I do get what you're saying, but my question to you would be, well, what's the other choice? Just to give up altogether. And if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. But there's nothing wrong with saying, hey, anything worth keeping is worth waiting for. Anything worth having is worth going through a lot of stuff to have, to get, to obtain. You know what I'm saying? So if you want that king, you want that queen, you're going to go through a lot of things to get there. You have to go through a lot of things to get there. You got to go through a lot of things with the person. You got to go through a lot of things within yourself to get to that point. You know what I'm saying? Because if a great relationship with a great partner is what you want, then you got to go through a lot of trials and tribulations. You got to go through a lot of struggles to get that. That doesn't just come to your doorstep with no struggle, with no pressure, no nothing. You just have it straight off the bat, and that's it. No, sometimes, well, let me say this. Normally, no. Are there instances where that could happen? Sure. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure people have those type of stories where this good woman or this good man just fell into my life and, and we were good ever since. I'm not saying those stories don't exist, because they do. But I'm saying for the majority of us, you gotta go through some stuff, excuse me, to get and to keep that good man or that good woman. You gotta go through your trials and tribulations. You got to go through your therapy so that you can heal from your pains and your struggles. You got to go through learning this person and learning their ways, and they got to go through learning your ways. It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of give and take that goes into these relationships. And it's going to always be there because you're going to constantly be growing. Things that you like, you're no longer going to, some things are, no, you're no longer going to like. Things that you didn't like, you might start to like. You may have been an adventurous person at one point in time and now you're more reserved, or vice versa. So there's always going to be things to learn about people. The point that I'm making is you have to be willing to go through these things to meet that right person. I don't believe that whoever my right person is, I don't believe that they're just going to fall out of the sky and be right there. I know that number one, I'm going to have to do a lot of work on myself to make sure I'm ready for my right person. And once I meet my right person, we're going to have to go through a lot of work to learn each other, to figure each other out, to learn how to blend our lives together, our philosophies together. There's going to be give and take. There's going to be push and pull. You know what I'm saying? But it'll be worth it because when I find my person, I understand. And sometimes you got to go through those. Sometimes you got to go through bad relationships to really appreciate a good relationship. And the reason why I say that is if I take my first job, right? My very first job was a great job. You know what I'm saying? It was one of them jobs where you didn't have to clock out for lunch. They fed you. They washed your clothes. I was spoiled. Then I got but I didn't appreciate it because I didn't understand how good, or at least how much for me. Now, people might hear that and be like, oh, that ain't a good job. I'm 16. I'm making money. My mom isn't asking me for any money. You know what I'm saying? So I'm able to buy me a car. I'm able to buy whatever I want. So in my mind, I'm living the good life. So, like I said, this was my very first job. And I didn't realize how good of a job it was until my next job. And I realized, oh, they don't do nowhere near the stuff that this job did. And so, you know what I'm saying? I had to go through a bunch of bad jobs to appreciate my good ones and appreciate how good some of my situations were. I would have never realized how good my first job was if I would have never gone through these bad jobs. And sometimes you got to go through bad experiences to appreciate the good ones. So, you know what I'm saying? So, yes, you're going through this bad dating pool and you know what I'm saying, these suitors, you know what I'm saying? You're going on these bad dates. But that's okay because go through those bad days because once you get those good days and you start to get that good first date or you start to get that good conversation that leads to great conversation, you appreciate it more because you know what it's like to have bad conversation. You know what it's like to have those bad days. You know what it's like to get bad vibes from people. So that way, when you start to get those good vibes, when you start to get around the right type of people and you start to have the right dates because you know what I'm saying? Because you're being very selective about who you're saying yes to. You're being very selective about um, who you're communicating with and things like that. You'll appreciate it more because you're going to remember what those bad conversations were like. You're going to remember what those bad first dates or those bad dates period were like. So you got to go through the bad to get through to get to the good. You got to go through some struggle to get to success. You know what I'm saying? You got to go through these things because that's all a part of the process. So yeah, I get it. You know what I'm saying? You feel like giving up. You know, you may have you may have gone on hundreds of first dates and none of them feel right. But and I'm not trying to tell you what to do with your life, you know, as far as that. But I would just hope that you know that you find a way to just go on 100 more, keep going, keep living, keep moving forward, keep going through your process, continue to um, add more things on the things that you're looking for and just be willing to hold your ground because like I said we're all not all of us but once you hit a certain age you kind of know what you're not willing to deal with and don't back down on that, even if you feel like, okay, most of the opposite sex of my at my age group or at my age range that I'm interested in, that's all they want is this. But my standards telling me I don't want to do that. And boom, whatever the case may be, stick to your standards because there are going to be a group of people who agree with your standard. Y'all just have to find each other. And that may take time, but I would just say just keep going because you know what you know what I'm saying, you know what's there. You know what I'm saying? You now that you've made it past your bad relationship, you just gotten out of that relationship. You don't want to go backwards. You don't want to meet somebody who's just like the person you just left because it's comfortable or because it's easy or because you know that personality or you familiar with that or that makes you feel at ease. You know what's there. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can't listen to that part of your brain that's telling you, oh, I know this. I know this type of person. I know this type of mentality. I know what they're about. I'm better. I can maneuver through it better this time around because I got 7 years worth of experience. And yes, you do. And yes, you can maneuver through it better. And yes, it might be great for those for the first 6, 7 years. But at some point, you're going to get tired and y'all going to end up right back where y'all were. You know what I'm saying? Well, right back where you was in your past relationship. So stop going backwards. Stop going backwards when it comes to your standards. Stop going backwards when it comes to getting these people out your life. Once you get them out your life, just keep them out your life, especially if you know they aren't serving you any purpose. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you know that you're trying to do something with your life. You're on this journey to become a doctor or to get your own, when you're trying to open up your own business, whatever it is that you're trying to do, and you know that your purpose is taking you down this road and you're realizing that there are people who just aren't meant for you. Once you let them go, once you drop them, once you get them out your life, you got to keep them out your life. Don't quit going backwards because all you're doing is putting more time on your clock, more time on your journey because you're not moving forward. You're either standing still or you're willfully choosing to turn around and go backwards to go pick up whatever it is that you're familiar with or whatever your comfort zone saying that you need. And now you're turning back around and trying to move forward with this same dead weight that you just had to let go of because you're not moving at the pace that you know you need to be moving because you're trying to hold on to too many things. So, and again, I'm not sitting here telling you that it's going to be easy because I know it's not. I know from experience it's not. I know from experience that it's so easy to stay in something that both sides know that they shouldn't be in when it comes to a relationship, when it comes to friendships. I know how easy it is. I know how easy it is for you to get into it real bad and for words of some very disrespectful words to be exchanged between you and your friend or you and your significant other. And then, once a couple of days go by, a couple of weeks, whatever it takes for you to calm down, now you back to loving this person or you back to being sweet to this person like nothing ever happened. Meanwhile, deep down, that anger is still there, that resentment is still there, and it's just building up because y'all aren't talking about those things. Y'all aren't, you know what I'm saying, doing what y'all need to do to heal from that pain and to heal from that anger and to heal from that frustration. You're not going to see anybody. You're not really communicating with each other. You're not really tearing these layers and these walls down and these barriers down so that y'all can have real intimate conversation. I know what it's like to go through that and to just stick around because it's convenient and you don't realize how much you're hurting yourself and how much you're hurting that other person. And then the moment that I did realize how much I was hurting that other person, it hurt me. You know what I'm saying? And number one, it hurt me because I was hurting her, and it hurt me because I didn't see how much I was hurting her. And so that kind of shell shocked me, that kind of rocked my world. And so now when I tell y'all that I'm slow rolling, I'm not even thinking about a relationship. I'm just focused on getting myself together because I never want to go through that again. And I don't ever want to put anybody else through that again. And because that's a terrible place to be in, you know what I'm saying, to where the person that you care about the most is the person that's making you the most miserable. You know what I'm saying? The person that you love is also somebody that you can't stand. Like every single word that come out, it's just a terrible place to be in. And I don't wish that on anybody. So when I hear people going through stuff like this and I hear them taking this person back or I hear them thinking about going back, of course, on the inside, I want to be like, no, don't go backwards. You already know what's there. You already know what's waiting for you there. You have enough of a sample size to realize that you're not ready to change. The other person's not ready to change. So you know your results are going to be the same. And I mean, people can talk about how much they want to change or how much they're going to change. Hey, I'm going to do this, but their actions aren't showing it. And our mind, and I get it, our mind knows I shouldn't go back. Our mind knows, hey, I'm at peace right now. I haven't talked to this person in a couple of days. I'm not stressing. My body feels better. My attitude is better. My outlook on life is better. And then you run into that person, or that person calls, or you get that moment of just weakness where it's like, let me call them, check on them, see how they're doing. And boom, next thing you know, y'all back in the groove or whatever y'all was doing. Y'all back into that relationship. Y'all back into the everyday life that y'all been doing. And again, excuse me, and again, I'm not judging anybody because I lived it. I went through it. You know what I'm saying? I'm just talking to y'all as someone who's finally on the other side of it, who finally truly let this person go so that this person can be free, and this person can go deal with the things that they need to deal with. This person can go heal. This person can find true love from somebody who genuinely loves them and who's ready to love them and ready to accept them. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to sit here and act like I didn't genuinely love the person I was with. I just wasn't where I needed to be. I wasn't healed enough from my past, and I wasn't ready to express myself the way I needed to. I wasn't ready to love her, or I couldn't love her the way she needed to be loved, because, you know, maybe our definitions of love or the way we view love was very different. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of things on my end that I need to fix and that I need to work on, especially when it comes to my anger issues and the way I deal with my anger and the way I deal with my frustration and the way I handle people when I'm angry and frustrated. So, you know what I'm saying? There's a lot that I have to deal with. And when I say all of that, no, never put my hands on it. It was never anything like that. It was just always, I never made it. I never made her feel comfortable, especially when I was angry, to just have a conversation with me, because I would just shut down and I wouldn't want to have conversations and I wouldn't want to talk. And I never made her feel heard or, you know what I'm saying, understood, you know what I'm saying? So I never allowed her to get comfortable in the relationship on an intimate level, like when it comes to emotions, you know. And so now that I know that I'm trying to do better, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to grow and things like that, go through therapy so that I can get to a point to where I need to be, because I don't want to go back to that. I don't want to go back to the person that I was, and I don't want to go back to a relationship that I helped to create, a toxic relationship that I helped to create. I got to own my part because I played a part in it. And so I don't want to move backwards when it comes to that. So I'm doing the best that I can, and I'm doing the work, as much work as I can, so that I can continue to move forward, because I don't want to be stuck in neutral for the rest of my life, and I don't want to move backwards. So the only other option for me is to do the work so that I can grow and move forward. And so to anybody listening to this, that would be my suggestion to you as well, is to start doing the work on yourself, so that way you can get out of being in neutral, being stuck in the same spot that you've been in for the past couple of years. Every time you look up, another year that went by and you haven't went and got your degree, or you haven't went and started school, or you haven't started this business, or you haven't made the upgrades to the house, or whatever it is that you want to do, you're not doing it because you're just stuck in neutral. So my thing is, just start putting in the work on yourself, so that way you can do the things that you want to do. You can finally get out of neutral and you can start moving forward. Or even worse, if you're constantly moving backwards in life, it's time to start cutting those ties to those people and start healing and start doing what you need to do, so that you can start to grow and you can start to move forward, because ain't nothing back there for you. And this is me talking to every single person in life. There's nothing back there for you. Even if your person is back there, your person's going to realize, okay, I'm not where I want to be in life. Let me start working, doing the things that I need to do so that I can move forward in life. And then y'all will meet somewhere in the future. Y'all will meet somewhere further down the road instead of meeting in the past. So, Ain't nothing back there. No point in looking back there. No point in turning around, going back. There's nothing back there. If there is anybody who wants to be in your life, then they'll do what they need to do to catch up to you, to meet you, or they, you know what I'm saying, to meet you where you are, and vice versa. If you know that somebody's doing what they need to be doing and they've moved ahead in life and you want to be in their life and you want to be a part of whatever it is that they got going on, then you need to start doing what you need to do in your life to move forward and to catch up to what they're doing, because you shouldn't slow down for anybody, slow your progress down for anybody, and nobody should have to slow their progress down for you. Do what you need to do to catch up, and those people who are behind you that want to be a part of your life, they'll do what they need to do to catch up to you. But either way, just keep doing what you're not, well, no, let me not say to keep doing what you're doing, but if you're doing what you need to be doing, then keep doing what you need to be doing. And you got to be honest with yourself. Like, you know, if you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you know, if you're grinding as hard as you need to be grinding. You know, if you're putting in all the work that needs to be put in. Just like I know when I'm not doing it, I gotta hold myself accountable. Okay, I'm not doing what I need to be doing. Let me step my game up. So if you know that you're truly doing what you need to be doing, keep doing your thing, keep grinding. Everything will come eventually, but just stick with it. The only way you can guarantee that it won't come and you won't get those things is if you stop doing it or you never start doing it. Those are the only two ways that you're guaranteeing that you don't get the things in life that you want. You got to start doing it and you got to continue to do it. I don't know how long you're going to have to do it. Everybody's journey is different. Your journey may only take you a couple of months to get to where you need to be. Your other people's journey may take them a couple of years. But the point is, just start and stick with it. You know what I'm saying? You'll start to meet the people that you need to meet. You start to make the contacts that you need to make. You start to, your mindset will start to change because you're around different types of people. You know what I'm saying? And now their infectious personalities or their drive or their work ethic starts to rub off on you. And it's like, okay, this man or this woman went out and got this in like a couple of years, but they also put this much work in. So now I know, in order to even sniff where they are, I know that at the very least I gotta match that work ethic so that I can get out of life what they're getting out of life. But you gotta put the work in. That's what matters, is putting that work in. So I'm gonna end this conversation on this. Y'all, please stop moving backwards. Stop going back to those people. Stop going back to those friendships. Stop going back to those relationships. Stop going back to those bad jobs or those whatever the bad situations are. Stop going back to them just because they're familiar and you're scared of trying something new. New things are always New things are going to always be scary, but new things can be amazing. New things can open up new avenues for you. New things can be exactly what you need to get to the next step in life. Because as we all know, you're not going to get new things, you know what I'm saying, without doing, how can I put it? You're not going to reach new levels of success doing the same old things you've been doing. Because you keep doing the same old things you've been doing, you're going to get the same old things that you've been getting, the same old results. It's time to start doing something new. So if you're in a situation right now where you don't like where you are, you don't like what you got, you don't like what you're getting, then okay, it's time to start doing something new so that way you can get something new and quit going backwards. And I just want to thank everybody who's listening on whatever platform you're listening on. Please leave a comment. I thank y'all for listening. Everybody on YouTube, I appreciate y'all for taking the time to watch and listen to the podcast. Y'all already know, like, comment, and subscribe. Please share it if you can. And everybody have a blessed day.